other hand, you may not have a lot of money. You may not have a whole lot of friends or some kind of status in the world, fame, whatever it is that we attribute to being happy. But you could be at peace and truly happy in the moment. There are many ways in which we can experience happiness. Just because happiness may be a conditional happiness that you may experience for a moment when you get something that you want, doesn't mean it's not happiness. You still can experience moments of happiness. But what I'm talking about is true lasting happiness, the type of happiness that is with you from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Doesn't mean you're not going to have ups and downs. I'm not talking about being happy all the time, even when things are challenging. But you can have a sense of peace and well-being through it all if you are a person who just exists in a state of happiness. 5 daily practices so that you can become a happier person. Number 1, practice savoring the moment. Too many of us are moving so quickly through life, trying to get to the next moment. We are in our heads, thinking about the past and the future. We are comparing ourselves to others, thinking, trying to make decisions that we think are going to make us happy. We just end up feeling really unsatisfied. Taking the moment, it's right in front of you. That is such a great gift, right here, right now. Use your senses. Our sense perception's the greatest thing about being human. If you really experience life through the senses, you'll know what I'm talking about. Really hearing, seeing, really tasting, really smelling something, like before you eat a meal. Smell your food, look at your food, enjoy the experience. It may take a little practice. Practice it as much as you're able to remember. Bring yourself back to just enjoying what's in front of you. Whatever it is that's in front of you is the most important thing, because it's what's in front of you. What happens when we're just in our minds and in our fantasies all the time, we miss out on what's in front of us. And you don't want to spend your whole life missing out what's in front of you. These moments are sacred. Life passes really quickly. Learn to savor the moment. Number 2, small acts of kindness. Practice small acts of kindness. Let someone get ahead of you in line at the grocery store. Let someone in front of you when you're in traffic, when they're trying to change lanes. It feels really, really good when you just say, get ahead of me, especially if you are in a rush. If you're in a rush in your mind and you're not letting anybody ahead of you, you're just freaking out, that's really unhappy energy. If in that moment, even though you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get to work, I'm in a hurry, and someone is trying to change lanes, and you say, you know what, get ahead of me. The feeling that comes with that, when it's a little inconvenient for you, is a really good feeling of happiness. Little things, holding the door open for someone, buying someone a coffee. I've had this happen to me before, which I've always been so touched by, is when you're in the drive-thru and you get to your point where you're about to pay for your coffee or whatever it is, and the cashier says, the person ahead of you paid for you. That's happened to me several times. And in that moment, pay it forward. Okay, let me buy the person behind me a coffee, or just be the one who does it. Or it doesn't have to be a stranger. We meet up with friends all the time, offer to pay for them. It's my treat. That feels really good, without expecting anything in return. Small acts of kindness every day. Actually, the smaller they are, the better, because it feels good. We'll just be a happier person in general.
Like coffee
Number
for
3,
strangers, okay.
Be happy for the successes of others. We live in a very competitive society. We are taught to try to get ahead of everybody. If someone is doing well, somehow that means that we're not doing well, or that we should strive to do better than them, outdo them in some way. It's a very interesting thing to observe within ourselves, that especially when someone has something that you want and is succeeding at something that you want, you feel diminished. When you really think about it, it makes no sense. Someone succeeding at something doesn't say anything about you not being worthy, but we take it that way. Just be honest with yourself right now, because no one's around you and you don't have to tell anybody. How many times have you seen someone doing well or been jealous of someone and kind of coveting their life, and you kind of secretly wish that they would fail? It's a really low vibration and makes you actually an unhappier person. Practice being happy for someone. It's as simple as when you see someone doing well and you feel that trigger feeling of being slightly jealous and feeling like you're not good enough. Instead, catch yourself in that moment and say, I'm really happy for them. They deserve the best. They deserve happiness. Saying that is actually very powerful. You'll feel relief instantly and kind of milk it a little bit. That makes me feel really happy for them. It's so great that they're succeeding. They must feel so happy. Imagine if it was you. How must that feel for them right now? Over time, you get to the point where you genuinely react instantly with a sense of feeling happy for someone when they're doing well. You don't have to actually put it on. It's just something that is natural in you. That is a huge relief. It makes you lighter as you move through the world. Number 4, practice letting go. The Buddha taught the main source of suffering is attachment, clinging on to what we want, and resisting pushing away that which we don't want. Practice letting go. How does that look? When you're trying to let go, you're kind of in this energy of like holding on, trying to make something happen. A really nice practice, clench your fists really hard and let them go. In your body, as you do this, you can kind of feel your own mind let go a little bit too, because sometimes when you experience something in your body and your mind are so linked that that act itself can be like, take breaths, a deep breath and letting it go. When you're feeling yourself attached to something, remind yourself that that's not going to lead to anything good. When you're feeling yourself pushing something away, practice letting it go. Practice saying to the universe, I trust that everything is working out as it should. If something is leaving my life, let it leave. If something is coming into my life, let it come, but be soft around it. It really does have a lot to do with softening. The breath, relax your body. You'll notice that when you're clinging or you're resisting, your body tenses up. So relax it, roll your neck around, shake your shoulders out. These things are very, very helpful, and they will help you let go. And the more you let go, the happier you will be. Someone who's always clinging and attaching to things is not going to be a happy person. Know that happiness is not outside of you, it's within you. And so when things come and when things go, they do not affect your happiness. They don't have to. And then number 5, practice self-acceptance. We are masters at rejecting ourselves. We try to be someone we're not. We try to please others by becoming an image of what we think they will accept. When we're not true to ourselves, we are not happy. We are living a life that is not authentic. When we're not authentic, we feel like we're lying to ourselves. And when you deny yourself long enough, eventually you become very miserable. You find yourself feeling really unfulfilled. We try to change ourselves because we are looking for validation outside of ourselves, and we think that that's going to bring us happiness. No amount of external validation is actually going to make you feel good. Someone who is, let's say, physically very, very beautiful, that are told their entire lives that they're really, really beautiful, can actually feel really ugly inside, can actually have this whole experience of themselves where they think that they are absolutely hideous, even if other people are telling them that they're beautiful. It really doesn't have anything to do with the external world. We do base our happiness on whether we fit in with our peers and whether we're accepted by others, because we don't have our own sort of solid groundedness within our sense of self. We try to be someone we're not. We deny the things that we like. We may lie. We want to fit in with them, so we may say that we like what they like. That may work for a second where you might feel like you fit in with them, but ultimately it doesn't bring you lasting happiness, and it has a ceiling. When you just practice accepting yourself, the things that you like, who you are, how you show up, even your mistakes and shortcomings, you open yourself up to that feeling of well-being and happiness that actually exists within you. We repress these feelings of happiness by not being true to ourselves. You are unique and you're special, exactly as you are. You can start just by repeating the mantra, I love and approve of myself. I am exactly who I am. I choose to be myself. I choose to love myself no matter what. You may not believe these affirmations at first, but over time, they will become more natural and they will become your own experience. But you have to kind of maybe say these things to yourself for a little while until it becomes true to you. And then the momentum will gather and you will discover more things that you like about yourself. And you will discover that the more you approve of yourself and accept yourself, the happier you will be. Being happy is your birthright, and being happy benefits so many people. So choose happiness, because happiness is a choice. So every day you must choose to do those things that bring you that lasting happiness rather than that momentary quick fix. Try to avoid those quick fixes as much as you can and focus on that lasting inner peace. I hope this serves you.
Hello, welcome to my channel. We're just going to get another general message from Spirit and see what comes out today. Thank you everyone who subscribed to my channel, liked and commented on the videos. I appreciate you guys so much. Welcome to everybody who is new. If the video resonates with you, I would love if you would subscribe as well. Please remember these are collective readings, and so not everything will resonate with you necessarily, but that's okay. Just take what does and leave the rest behind. Also, there is no gender, so you can change the rules as you need to. I just read what's on the card so it doesn't get confusing. Also, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who sent me love and well wishes. I do feel a lot better today, so we'll jump right in. 4 Wands, Eight of Cups in the Sun, the Magician, the Two of Cups. I feel like somebody is thinking about you very heavily, but when they think about you, I feel like they think of you as like their sun. Like there's a sun picture here, the sun card is here, it's very like bright and radiant and beautiful. I feel like there was somebody in this Eight of Cups energy that was kind of like going through a lot in their daily life, I feel like, or dealing with people that they knew they needed to disconnect from, you know, that weren't for their highest good. Maybe they were a little bit toxic, but I feel like it's kind of like a beacon, like this radiating energy that's like pulsating and getting their attention and like drawing them forward. I heard moth to a flame. Yeah, so it's like an energy of like this person kind of going through a lot, and they were using you as like their guide to maneuver out of the darkness, maneuver out of like the heavy energy that they were kind of being surrounded with. I feel like they used you as like their guide and like their, I heard North Star. Yeah, so I really feel like this person is thinking of you as this beacon of light, this beacon of love, where they want to go, where they want to end up, right? I feel like they did a lot of clearing out of energies that were holding them back. I feel like they did a lot of self-reflection. I feel like they cut a lot of ties with people that were not for their highest good. Because this is what they wanted. 4 Wands and the Two of Cups. That's what they were wanting. They wanted to have a relationship with you that was solid and stable, where there wasn't energy around them that was like pulling them away from you or being a distraction. I feel like they wanted to clear anything out, anybody out that was, you know, could be in the way of your guys' relationship moving forward smoothly, right? I feel like this person, I don't know, there's just like this really heavy energy of like multiple people, maybe even like a job they didn't like, or something like that, like different, making changes to their situation in whatever way that was. Like maybe they finally decided to quit a job they didn't like and go for a job that they do like. You know, it's something like that where they're wanting to better their situation, they're wanting to feel better about their life, they're wanting to feel better about themselves. So I feel like they're doing a lot of clearing and just walking away from anything that doesn't resonate anymore, with the hopes of coming towards you. And I feel like with this Magician energy, I feel like it's not just that Magician, right? Like manifestation, following your path, all of that, but it's like this energy here with him at the altar. I feel like that's what they're wanting, right? Furthering the relationship in whatever way that is. You know, I feel like marriage is something that they think about quite a bit, honestly. But, you know, I don't feel like you guys are talking, so I feel like that's probably not the very first step. But I feel like it is something that they think about. This is definitely like their goal in their mind, is to clear out anything that is no longer serving them, head towards you, and I heard thank you. Yeah, so it's like an energy of them wanting you to know that you were you were this beautiful guiding energy for them, because they were feeling very stuck. I feel like they were feeling a lot of guilt with that, having to clear out people that were no longer resonating. I feel like it's probably like it feels like a larger friend group, you know, like people you grow up with, that kind of thing, like people you've been around for a really, really long time, so you've just had that like long connection. But I feel like this person didn't resonate with those people anymore, and they were like dragging them down, because I feel like this person was going towards their highest vibration, which would be aligning them with you, right? That's where they wanted to be. They wanted to be in a higher vibration, so that they could come to where you are, right? Leading towards you. So I feel like that's what they've done. And in this Magician energy, I feel like that's also them kind of like coming into their magic for themselves, finally reaching this state of high vibration for themselves and feeling this magic inside of them, right? Like they always saw you as somebody who like embodied this beautiful magical energy. And it feels like they thought of it as like a kind of unattainable for them, because they weren't on that high vibration, right? They were on a lower vibration. So it felt unattainable to be where you are. But I feel like since they used you as a guiding light, and it was kind of like drawing them to their highest vibration, because that's where they wanted to meet you, I feel like they're really like excited in this Magician energy, because they're feeling their own magic, and I feel like it's filling them with hope. I feel like it's filling them with this really beautiful sense of joy. It's a really beautiful energy that this person is in, and they used you to get to this high vibration. Can I get some more on this person? Seven of Pentacles, Page of Cups. I heard sorry it took so long. Page of Wands, the Lovers, the Emperor, Page of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. Yeah, like I said, they use you as a guide. And with this Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles energy, so Seven of Pentacles is like, you know, investment, right? Like working really hard, planting seeds for your future, that kind of stuff. Eight of Pentacles is accomplishing those goals, putting in that dedication and work, and then receiving those, you know, like the fruit of your labor kind of thing. So with this, it's a very like hard working energy that I'm getting from these two cards right here, which is why this Emperor card is here, is because they've come into their magic and they've come into their power, right? They did the work because they followed your example. With these pages, I feel like with the Page of Cups, sometimes that can be an apology or like learning something new. Page of Wands is that message. But with the pages here like this, I'm getting more of the energy of them kind of like, it's like a student energy, right? Because they used you as a guide, right? So they kind of thought of you as like this leader or this example, right? And they were kind of like the student learning from you. I feel like that's what how they think about it, is like they learned how to higher their vibration because they watched how you live and how you present yourself and how you work so hard in all areas of your life, and they turned that inward and they did the same thing for themselves, and now they're in this emperor energy because they watched you. And I feel like their cup is definitely overflowing with the love that they have for you. I feel like it's just so, it's like I'm seeing a waterfall. It's almost overwhelming. Like, you know how I don't know if you've ever been to a waterfall, but it's really loud. So it's kind of like that, right? Like this energy of like forcefulness and overwhelming, and kind of being like all other things around being drowned out by the sound of the waterfall. But the sound of the waterfall is this love energy. It's just like pulsating and radiating through this person. And it's just like, it's almost, I feel like it's distracting for them, but they're really happy in it. You know what I mean? Because they had been so consumed by like darker energy, because they were not at their highest vibration, right? And they knew it, so they already had that spark of wanting better, right? Wanting to do better for themselves. And so, you know, they followed your example, they came into their emperor energy, and now they're in this like overflowing waterfall of love for you. Yeah, I feel like they're just really excited and like proud, you know what I mean? I feel like this person has put in a lot of time and energy to better their situation, to feel better about themselves, to do a lot of clearing in their life. And I feel like they want to tell you that, you know, that they're very grateful that you were this beacon of hope for them. Knight of Cups, Ten of Cups. I heard, will you go out with me? Oh my gosh, Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, holy moly, Two of Cups. This person, they're like, they're swimming in this ocean of love for you. It's really beautiful. I feel like this person, I'm seeing somebody with like a gigantic smile on their face and kind of like holding their cheeks because they're a little bit like sore from smiling. I feel like they're just filled with so much gratitude, so much love, so much respect, and like, I don't know, they're just so happy to finally be in a place where they can approach you now. Like they feel ready to approach you because they've worked so hard on raising their vibration. They've worked so hard on their self-confidence, on their self-love. And I feel like they're in an energy of, because I feel like before, you know, with that whole like unattainable kind of mindset that they had when it comes to being as high vibrational as you are, I feel like they didn't think of you guys as equals, right? They thought of you on a pedestal. They thought of you as higher than them, you know. So I feel like now that they're in this emperor energy and in this magician energy, that they're feeling really grateful and proud, and you know, like their sense of self-worth has risen, their confidence has risen, and I feel like they think of you guys as like on the same playing field now because they've done so much work, because they wanted to meet you in your energy. And I feel like they've done that for themselves. I feel like they have elevated to a high vibration. I feel like they have truly come into their emperor energy and into their magic with the magician here. And now I feel like this is what they want. They want to come forward to tell you that they see you as their, I heard, end game. Yeah, they see you as the person that they want to spend the rest of their life with, right? They want to build a future with you. They want to, I feel like with this Knight of Cups energy, it's kind of reflective. So it's like I feel like they're kind of daydreaming about scenarios of like taking you out on a date, taking you on adventures, like just doing stuff together. It's really sweet energy. Can I get some more on this Emperor? Anything else on this Emperor? The Fool. I heard, here I come. Anything else? Three of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Page of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Three of Cups, 33. Ace of Swords. I heard, I need to tell you my truth. I feel like with this Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups energy, I feel like that's their people, right? Whether it's family or whether it's close friend group. I feel like it's Justice. I feel like that's an energy of people telling this person, you know, I feel like a lot of... So whoever these people are, like whether it be friends or family, I feel like these group of people are really proud of this person as well. I feel like this person, you know... when they were around this group of people, you know, they were lowering their vibration because they weren't, I feel like they were just kind of stuck. I feel like they knew these people for a really long time. I feel like these people didn't have the same kind of like dreams and aspirations. I feel like they were more content with just like, you know, living superficially or in the 3D, you know, like not having really any strive or drive for a higher purpose. But I feel like this person did. I feel like they've always had that spark in them, where they wanted to like learn a lot, or you know, pursue deeper meaning in things, right? I feel like they always had that inside of them, but they kind of like hid it away because they knew the people that they were around weren't really in that same energy, right? So I feel like that's another reason why they were so they kind of like attached to your energy, because they knew that's where they wanted to be, right? Like it pulled them out of this darkness, this like lower vibration, towards what they truly had in their heart, right? Which is striving to learn higher, learn things about higher concepts, right? Like spirituality or religion or whatever it is for you, right? Or this person, but they recognized in you what they were hiding in themselves, right? So it was pulling them towards you because that's where they wanted to be for themselves. And I feel like there's it feels complicated, but I feel like this person tried to like explain that to these people, and I don't know, I don't really feel like they really understand the concept of like like twin flames or soulmates or anything like that. But I feel like these people are still trying to be supportive in an energy of like, okay, well, you know, this person is just being really connected to a deep sense of love, right? But I don't feel like these people are really on the same I heard wavelength. Yeah, so I feel like they kind of are a little bit more 3D about it, but even still I feel like they're being really supportive because they've seen such a drastic change in this person, right? When you start living from your heart space, you start radiating this beautiful, like, vibrant energy, right? Because you're not suppressing any parts of yourself anymore, you know? You're not like trying to fit in, you're just following your heart and you're doing what's right for you. And I feel like that's where this person is they're following their heart, and they're following your guidance, right? Because you live from a very authentic place, you live from a very heart open space, and that's how this person wanted to live, and they used you to get there for themselves, and they're incredibly grateful. Like this energy feels very much like a gigantic hug that this person wants to give you. Like that's what this energy feels like. You know, I feel like they, with the Six of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, I feel like that's them wanting to give back to you in some kind of way. I feel like they feel it's a little bit unbalanced because, you know, they were using your energy to better themselves and learn and grow and become their highest vibration, but they weren't giving back to you because that's an internal journey, right? So I feel like they feel that they need to give you something in return. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not getting into anything specific about what they want to do besides tell you their truth. Like this is like, it's almost like radiating here. And I feel like that's what these friend group or family group is telling them as well, is like, you need to come forward. You need to tell this person your truth. If that's, you know, that can be the first thing that you do to balance the scales, right? You use this person's beautiful energy to higher your vibration or learn how to higher your vibration. So give them back the energy of being grateful. Give them back the energy of truth, right? Tell them that you love them. That's an energy exchange. That's a beautiful thing as well, right? So I feel like this friend group or family group is being really supportive, like helping them to figure out what to say and how to say it. Yeah, I feel like this is just like a really beautiful, warm energy that I'm getting from this group of people and from this emperor. So let's get you some oracles. Moon Madness, avoid drama. I don't really feel like it's the avoid drama so much, but I feel like, see how, so in the middle of the card, there's the darkness, right? But there's a staircase. So I feel like this person kind of used you as, you know, they're guiding light out of the darkness, right? They followed the staircase down into the light, which was where you were. I feel like that's what this energy is here. Yin, moon, accept help. Yeah, and again, like coming out of the darkness, right? You have to come through this like portal energy and choose to live in the light, right? I feel like with the accept help, it's not so much like accept help, but I feel like that's them kind of being in that grateful energy because they used you as this guide, and it was like, you know, very helpful for them to get through that darkness. Healing moon, seek healing. Yeah, and I feel like that's what happened, right? So you come out of this darker energy, you walk into the light, and then you sit in this light, and it helps to heal you, right? You go through all these changes internally, and it brings you into the light, and then that darkness era, darkness portal closes up, and now you're in the light. Your vibration is higher, you're wearing your love on, you know, outwardly for everyone to see, you're living authentically, and it's a really beautiful place. Void, moon, do nothing. And it's not so much the do nothing necessarily, but it's just like, now it's time to be, right? This person has gone through a lot. This person has come out of that darkness. They've come into the light. They've done their healing. And now there's nothing else to do except for them to be in this energy, because it's already magnetized them to your vibration, right? You guys are in a matched vibration now, because they put in the time and work to get to that vibration, right? By using you as a guide. So now all they have to do is follow this path. I feel like the moon is you. It's like a, you know, that intuition kind of energy. I feel like that path leads to you, right? They're just accepting that they're in this new vibration. They're accepting that you guys are in a matched energy, and that they don't have to exactly do anything else besides come forward and tell you their truth. But as far as like needing to raise their vibration anymore, I feel like they're feeling that they're finally in a space where they are matched to you and they can come forward and tell you their truth, because they're ready. So I hope that I hope that resonated for you and hope that brought you some clarity. Please like, subscribe, or comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I'm going to show you at the end of this video the location where I am today. The view is really beautiful and there is a temple in front of me. But first I want to talk with you. And I would like you to settle down as well, because we're going to have an intense conversation today. And I would like to start by sharing a quote from Nietzsche. In his book, The Will to Power, he said, "I wish suffering, desolation, sickness, ill treatment, and indignities upon my fellow men and women. I have no pity for them, because I wish for them the only thing that can prove today whether one is worth anything, whether one endures." Now this sounds pretty tough, right? And I understand Nietzsche, because he had a very difficult life. He was mostly suffering with physical pains, and he was not able to write a lot. So if you've ever read Nietzsche, he wrote very small texts, very intense, very condensed, and in his lifetime maybe just 400-500 people would read his book. He only became popular later. I'm sharing it because we all suffer, we all struggle in life, and no matter how much we try to create conducive environment where we can keep away all the suffering, all the negativities, all the harshness of life, but it is like water. It always finds its way in. You cannot keep it away for too long. And what I want to say is that we don't even have to keep them away. I would even go ahead and say we should just embrace them. When they come, we should embrace them. And why do I say that? I say that because it is through suffering that we evolve. It is through suffering that we learn and grow. What if you don't try to remove suffering from your life? What if you give it a chair and let it sit and listen to it? What is it trying to say? What is it trying to teach you? In life, everything exists in duality. What comes goes, what arises passes away. All that is good becomes bad, all that is bad becomes good. Day turns to night, months change. Everything will always be in a constant state of flux. Everything will change. And by trying to keep the negatives away and keeping only the positives, you are trying to create an unnatural condition. It is simply not possible. What is possible, though, is that you embrace life in its totality. When suffering knocks on your door, you welcome it with open arms. Sometimes there is a grand design in universe. It is trying to teach us something. It is trying to show us a lesson that we wouldn't learn if we wouldn't suffer. So we go through phases in life when for a long period of time everything is going wrong. Relationships are ending up, you're going through sickness and diseases, jobs are getting lost, keys are getting lost, the texts are getting deleted, something is going wrong, right? It is time to pause and reflect upon them. Why is it happening? Instead of saying why me, you should think of yourself as the chosen one. The chosen one who has been given the opportunity to go deeper into something. A lot of people in this life, you will see that they have gone through so much harshness, so much toughness, that they've come out of it on the other side really strong, and they have something worthwhile to share with the rest of the world. Maybe you have to go through this experience because you have to teach us something. You have to share with us something, some valuable lessons for the future generation. It could be anything. And anyway, I always say that it's in your perception that you create happiness or suffering. So if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at your suffering, it can be not a curse, but a boon, a blessing. The question is, can you take your problems and troubles less personally, impersonally, and look at them objectively to see what can be done right now? Where is life trying to take me? Where is it pushing me? And there is no point fighting the rhythm of life. The best thing to do is to find out which way the wind is blowing and fly that way. And there is no you should not feel egoist about it and try to swim against the current, because the current is you are the current, you are made of that current. So by separating yourself from the current and then saying that no, I will fight it, you're just being a fool. The best thing is to surrender to nature, the grand design, the laws of nature, and flow with them. I feel your suffering. I feel it deeply. I know how hard it is to be in a position where the words that I'm saying make no sense. And I'm not even trying to force sense to you. But if you're listening, I just want you to listen and let it sink in. Maybe when you look back in retrospect, these words will make more sense to you. Maybe right now, the only thing you can do is listen to these words and you cannot take any action. And even that is okay. Total surrender is to say that I have no will against the will of life. I have no will against the will of God, or the will of universe, whichever way you prefer. It is the separate self that suffers because the separate self is not real. It is the ego that creates all this drama, and if we don't step back and see through it, we will always think that life is miserable, that something is wrong in life. But nothing is wrong in life. As the separate self, it is your opportunity to recognize your true nature. And if you're suffering, if you're struggling, there is no way out of it but through it. The only way out is the way through. So don't be afraid, have strength, have courage, seek help if you need to. Seek help. But don't run away. Don't be a coward. There is no place in natural selection for weak people, for weak creatures. So be strong. Don't give up on life that easily. And God forbid if you ever have the thoughts of committing suicide or ending your life because it's too hard, just know that it's not the solution. It is, I don't know what will be your last state of mind while going through that act. And God forbid if you failed, you can never do it again because something will break and you can never try again. And it will be even harder for you to rise up from there. If you are thinking of ending your life as a philosophical inquiry, I have nothing against that. If you can put forward some really interesting philosophical point of view through which you say it doesn't matter, hence it doesn't matter and I'm going to end it, good luck. I wish you all the best. But running away is not a solution. Who knows, if there is a rebirth and you come back, you have to go through all that struggle again. And maybe you've done it in your past lives and then you're doing it again. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that right now, to digress from our main topic. But all I want to see, what I'm doing right now, I don't know if I'm doing justice to it, if you're still listening to me, what I'm doing right now is holding space for you. I'm telling you that it's okay to suffer. Everybody suffers. But you should not be afraid. You should not try to run away from your problems. You should embrace them. You should walk with your chest up and your shoulders rolled backwards.
Have you ever wondered what women really notice when they first set eyes on you? Perhaps if you know these things, you can be more deliberate with your appearance and how you carry yourself, increasing your chances of appearing more attractive to women.
If you fail at these, then there's a high chance that you're never going to get any far where women are concerned. Keep watching this video. I've got you covered today. Hello there, my name is Jessica. This is my YouTube channel. Today's video is sponsored by Passion Air, the best way to fly if you are traveling internally within the country of Ghana. If you're ever on this side of the planet, exploring Ghana, then know that that's the best way to get around. And it's also sponsored by True Green Foods, healthier food options for people who are looking to improve their lives. So let's jump right in. Let's jump into today's video.
The first 6 things girls look for in guys.
Number 1 on the list is the most obvious, and that is your appearance. She wants to know how put together your appearance is. And you see, it's not even just something that's limited to just women, because if you're looking to make any kind of good impression, it is imperative that Number 2, how well versed is he? So women tend to like guys who can hold conversations, hold their. 3, she notices his imperfections. And in this case, of course, I'm talking, how manly are you? Goes without saying. Nobody wants to hang around.
The word spell is not always well understood. Many people assume that spells involve strange and obscure practices, or that they can only be cast by a few chosen people. So you might be surprised to learn that much of modern witchcraft is nothing but an honest, spiritual way to express our desires and intentions. A spell is a type of ritual in which we guide our mind to achieve a specific purpose. The key to casting spells is to decide what you want to achieve and focus on the right images and words so that they will take you there. In the process of focusing on what you want, you are opening a door to a world where your wish can manifest as a reality. but your willpower and intention must be strong and consistent. The secret to this philosophy is to find the perfect balance between your conscious will and the often hidden purposes of your higher self. To do this, you must be very clear about what you want. Thousands of people cast magic spells every day, not necessarily being psychic, mediums, or experts in witchcraft. You can create a sacred space for casting spells at home, a personal space in which you will always be happy, calm, and safe. Spells work by opening up a spiritual pathway towards the goals we seek. The words and rituals that make up a spell are a means of engaging the witch's mindset in the transformation that is to happen. Like visualizing a roadmap for our manifestations and our future, the more prepared we are for change, the better it will be. Not all spells necessarily seek to change things, but rather to protect and prepare us for the challenges of everyday life. A good luck spell can make us feel more confident, inspiring us to take more risks, opening new doors towards personal success. Protection spells can help us dodge or deal with attacks that come from others, typically when we proudly show our work or come out as we are. As with any other art or craft, anyone can improve with time and practice. Some people have a natural gift or talent, and they will be better at it than others. But in general, anyone can practice magic to attract what they want into their lives. Whether you want to call yourself a witch, warlock, sorcerer, sorceress, wizard, or just pagan, that's up to you. 8 steps to casting a magic spell. 1. Your altar. You don't need a fancy altar to cast spells. There are many witches that work their magic on the floor, and others just use an everyday table with a tablecloth on. If you browse the Spells 8 library of magic spells, you will notice that most spells involve an altar. Why? Because it's important to have a personal sacred space. You will learn how to set a table and find a safe place for your tools in Lesson 5, how to set up a basic altar. 2. Safety measures. As a beginner, you may want to be certain that your mindset is right before casting a spell. Not all magical rituals necessarily require a circle of protection. This is used mainly in invocatory rituals, as well as in rituals that involve the gathering of great energies in a specific place or in a confined object. However, if we want to keep ourselves focused, it is a good idea to cast a simple circle. This not only protects us from energies that can distract us, it also helps us to enter an adequate mental state to carry out a spell. Alternatively, you can take a ritual cleansing bath to relax and bring peace of mind before you start the work. 3. Invocations and spiritual aids. This is an optional step, but it is conventional wisdom that witchcraft works best if you invoke the help of higher forces, so that you are not working all by yourself. Who or what you invite into your ritual will depend entirely on your personal set of beliefs. Not all witches are Wiccans. In fact, there are Christian witches and atheist ones. If you don't believe in a specific divinity, working with the elements of nature can be more appealing. Watch the video on calling the quarters for a simple circle casting ritual invocation. 4. Define an intention. The next thing is to decide what your intention is. What do you want to achieve? This should be as specific as possible. One effective way of doing this is to write it down on a piece of paper or in your journal. By writing it down, you are forcing yourself to turn your wish into clear words, helping you understand better what it is that you want. Notice that when writing or stating any intentions, we choose to remove the I want bit, because when we say to the universe that we want something.
I'm going to start this off by saying this is my female perspective of how to attract a woman and potentially be in a relationship. If you don't want a relationship, if you want to go your own way, if you want to be a loner, this video is not for you, okay? I believe the only way to actually learn the opposite sex is through the experience with the opposite sex. So you're only getting half the pie if you're listening to a guy tell you how to attract a woman.
Mind moving fast is crazy. Mind moving slow is saint. Mind stopped is God. This is a powerful quote that I came across. And every spiritual tradition, every religion and every technique on mindfulness mentions meditation and calming the mind at some level. So today we will understand meditation for what it is, and we will understand what meditation can do for you in just 30 days if you spare 10 minutes a day. Did you know that your brainwaves actually slow down during meditation, opening a doorway between your conscious and the subconscious mind? This phenomenon, which is documented by neuroscientists, allows you to move beyond the analytical thinking, which is represented by beta waves, into more relaxed alpha, theta, and delta states. So let's see what can happen for us in the next 30 days. The implications of all this can be really profound, and we can actually begin to live a different life altogether with the help of meditation. Meditation can transform the mental landscape while physically rewiring the neural pathways. All of this might have been proved now, but the Vedantic wisdom talked about this thousands of years ago before modern brain scanning technology could confirm. Most of us are stuck in an eternal mental chatter. Our mind never rests, not even during sleep. Have you observed this? Even when we sleep and close our eyes, our mind, thoughts, conclusions, imagination, these things keep on going. They never stop. This is why there is mental instability. This is why there is mental health issues in the world. We don't know how to take control of the mind. We don't know how to tame the mind. And meditation is a tool that can help us achieve this. In Vedanta, this identification with our mental state along with the ego is the reason for us to experience Maya, is the reason why we experience this illusion of duality, separation, because of which we suffer. Now, the answer to this is to go beyond the ego and recognize our true nature. And in this regard, calming our mind and bringing our mind to a certain level of stillness can help us to eventually go beyond the mind. Apart from this, our internal state has a profound connection with the external reality. As per Advaita Vedanta, it's all one reality. There is no internal and external. This shows that everything is connected. And how we keep our mind and how we keep our state of being is directly linked to the kind of reality that we experience in terms of our health, wealth, relationships, and inner peace. Our mental state has a lot to contribute in terms of what we experience from this life. So it's very important for us to take charge of this. So let's begin to uncover this journey of 30 days and how it can help you and how you should approach this. At first, in the beginning, each and every one of us will have resistance. Our mind will stop us from sitting in stillness and meditating. Suddenly, as you sit in meditation, you will remember urgent emails, you feel itchy, you will feel hungry, you will hear a sound here and there. Somehow, somewhere, there is always distraction. Now, this doesn't suggest that you are not fit to meditate or meditation is not compatible with you. This is something that everyone goes through. When we try to still the mind and when we try to sit and meditate, all these resistances and all these things come into the mind. Initially, the mind will not allow itself to be still, but we need to push through this resistance. We just simply have to sit and close our eyes. And neuroscience confirms what the ancient tradition knew. Consistent meditation physically rewires the neural pathways. Daily practice for just 10 minutes initiates subtle changes that accumulate over time, gradually altering how your brain processes information and responds to stimuli. And the most important shift will happen beneath the conscious level. Most of us, when we think of meditation and when we sit for meditation, we expect to experience something miraculous, something, mind-bending, like a glimpse at something like channeling and so on. All of these concepts have actually ruined the original essence of meditation. What actually happens is very simple and it is very evident. Real transformation is subtle. What you will begin to notice is that as you begin to meditate every single day, you will begin to pause before reacting. What was an unconscious pattern will become conscious. You will experience momentary spaciousness amid mental activity. There is also a concept of mental hygiene. Just like how we brush our teeth every single day, it is important to meditate because it creates a gap between our awareness and the mental process. And not only this, it sort of cleanses the mind. When we practice meditation every single day, it clears out the mental tension, and that gap that is created between us as the awareness and the thought process is very crucial. It is the seed for real transformation, and it will eventually bring the mind in order and will help us achieve fulfillment and clarity. After around 7 to 10 days of consistent practice, some people begin to notice some changes in their life. A quality of witnessing emerges, creating a gap between our negative patterns, negative thought patterns, emotions, etc. And instead of being involved and submerged in thoughts, we will see how we are separate from our thoughts, even though momentarily at first. And this is really significant. For most of the people, reaction is unconscious, but meditation creates a space between stimulus and response, where once you reacted automatically, meditation cultivates the capacity to pause, creating a moment of choice rather than compulsion. And this is the secret to true freedom. Now let's come to stage 2, where we have crossed the threshold, where we have persisted and gone beyond the resistance. And let's see what will happen in 10 to 20 days if we keep meditating. After around 15-day mark, many seekers see something very significant. That eternal battle between our thoughts and our awareness, where we feel stress, anxiety, and burnout, that begins to diminish, that begins to reduce. And that gap, that gap that was initially created between thoughts and our awareness, it sort of widens to give us a higher perspective of what mind actually is and what thoughts are. They are simply fluctuations in the mind. They are not who we are. We are beyond the thoughts. This becomes more and more obvious to us. And this witness that I talked about is called Sakshi Bhava in Vedanta. This is the witness consciousness. Vedanta says at the ultimate level, this is who we are. We are not the body, we are not the mind, but we are this witness consciousness. And as we go through this journey of meditation, this truth of Vedanta will become more and more evident. It will become more and more obvious. You will find yourself watching the mental activity as if observing clouds passing across the sky of your awareness. And the neurological basis for this is well documented. Brain scans reveal that after approximately 2 weeks of consistent meditation, activity in the default mode network, DMN, begins to measurably decrease. The quietening of the DMN translates to everyday benefits, such as making clearer decisions during stressful meetings or responding thoughtfully rather than reactively to challenging family situations. Some spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle call this presence, call this witness consciousness as presence, because this consciousness, this witness becomes accessible to us only in the present moment, because time as we know it as per Vedanta is an illusion. Future is a concept, past is memory, present is the only thing that truly exists. And this presence is the gateway to true fulfillment and freedom, which we can access more and more through meditation. Harvard scientists have documented these changes through measurement of brain structure. Their research reveals increases in gray matter density in areas associated with self-awareness, compassion, and introspection. Some regions linked to emotional regulation and memory show particular growth, suggesting that meditation actually reconstructs the physical architecture of your brain. Now let's come to the final stage of what can happen in 20 to 30 days when we consistently meditate. And have you thought of why these ancient traditions, whether it is Vedanta, whether it is Christianity, talk about 28 days or 40 days or 30 days as a time frame to practice something? There is a profound reason to this. These time frames are called as mandalas in ancient India. This is the amount of time that it takes for something to integrate. This is the integration process. When we practice something consistently for 30 days or 48 days, it becomes a part of our identity. It becomes a part of us. And only then can we see true change. And this is why most people give up. We just try something for 3 days, 4 days, or a week, and then we give up because we do not see any profound results. But in reality, true transformation takes time. We are trying to go beyond conditioning and the conditioned thought process that we are living for decades and centuries and even thousands of years because of, karma and because of rebirths. So meditation takes time, but the results are quite obvious. As you enter days 21 to 30, you're crossing into territory where all the previous efforts converge. This final phase transforms your earlier gains. The mind awareness gap that formed in earlier stages now widens into a stable platform of witnessing consciousness from which you can engage life with unprecedented clarity. And again, during these stages, some more challenges might come up. When we become more and more self-aware, the deeper layers of conditioning begin to open up, and we might see some more resistance and some more conflict between the mind and the awareness. But again, we simply need to persist. We need not fight the mind. We just need to be aware, and we need to be witnessing of the mind. And navigating these fluctuations with patience becomes essential for sustaining this practice. The David Hawkins map of consciousness offers a framework that calibrates consciousness from lower states like shame and fear to higher states like acceptance and love. Regular meditation naturally elevates your baseline state, your bhava, moving you from reactive states to more expansive ones. This inevitably leads to tangible changes in physical and emotional well-being. And by day 30, these changes transform your relationship with challenging circumstances. Life's difficulties don't disappear, but your capacity to remain present amid these situations will dramatically improve. And as we looked at the Hawkins consciousness map, emotions that once seemed overwhelming begin losing their grip. Not because you're suppressing them, but you're experiencing them from a different level of awareness or consciousness. So as Vedanta says, consciousness is all there is. This consciousness is described as Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, and bliss. So Ananda is the natural outcome for us when we tap into this nature. Meditation helps us do this more and more. In reality, Vedanta says that this is all there is. This is the ultimate goal for us. Ultimate goal for anyone is to experience absolute fulfillment permanently and get rid of suffering permanently. This can happen if we recognize this consciousness, the witnessing consciousness that we are. This can happen if we go beyond the body and mind. And meditation is the gateway for this. So when we quiet the mental turbulence, we access our fundamental nature as awareness itself. This conscious presence waits to be uncovered, not constructed. And I hope this helped you, it gave you some perspective. Along with this, what you need in this journey of conscious creation and conscious living is the company of the right-minded people. We need satsang, we need a community to take us through this journey. This is the reason why we created the Advaita Conscious Society. So if you wish to know more about conscious creation, for what it is, how it can help you live your ideal life, and if you wish to know more about our community, then check out this important video next. And at the end of this video, you will also get an opportunity to book a call with our team to explore this wisdom further and join us at ACS. So check this video next, and I will see you in the next one. Subscribe to Advaita to wake up. Shivoham.
Something is happening for you in May. Something is happening for you in May. Whew, let me breathe for a sec. I've been hearing it repeated for like an hour. That's an exaggeration. It hasn't been an hour, but I've been hearing it. The angels are saying something is happening for you in May. Now the thing is that this is a very diverse collective, okay? So if this message has found you, it is absolutely for you, okay? There's not a question about that. The thing is though, is that there's gonna be quite a few different messages coming through in this channeled message. So stick around, because some things are gonna be for you and some things may not be for you. So you're gonna have to use your discernment. Just if you wanna know if something's for you, then ask your angels. Like, even more than I can tell you, your spirit guides and angels can tell you, okay? So
What?
let's get into it.
Anime is okay?
I'm hearing something is happening for you in May.
What?
Something is happening for you in May. Usually my messages are timeless. This one is not. Something is happening for you in May. In May. Now this is a timeless May. This could be next year in May, or whatever year you find it. It's the upcoming May, but I'm hearing May very loudly, okay? Now the thing is that for some of you, something big is happening. That has to do with being seen, okay? So there's some really big thing where, like, maybe if you're a content creator, maybe you have a viral video, or if you're a musician, maybe you have like a really big show for the first time, or if you're into some other sort of something where you would be seen, there's some kind of event or something that you're going to be attending, in May that you will be seen, okay? Now for a very few of you in this collective, you may have several of these things happen to you all in May, okay? It might be like miracle after miracle after miracle is kind of the energy, and if you have had previous readings where you've been told that's going to happen for you, that is very likely for you, okay? The other one that I'm getting is that something really electric is going to happen for you. So it's going to be electric in the sense of, I'm literally holding my carnelian heart, and carnelian is a SEX activation crystal and I'm feeling this like magnetic crazy energy of something happening for you in May that's very like intimate. But I'm getting even deeper than just intimate. I'm getting like a kundalini awakening of some sort. The other thing that could be happening for you is that you're meeting some kind of a partner in May. Maybe you've had love coming in for a while. You have a partner coming in and you're gonna have an activation with them, okay? I'm also seeing that like some of you are traveling in May, and some of you are going to meet someone very important when you're traveling in May. I'm getting I'm getting some phlegm coming up, and I'm hearing that it's likely because you've been feeling these things that are coming in for you for so long, and you've been told they were coming for so long that you almost have given up hope is what I'm getting. And you have been having moments where you're kind of like, I don't know if I want that, you know what I mean? Like, but you've been knowing it's coming, and so you're finally hitting that like very last edge right before it shows up, where you're kind of like, I like what I'm at, I like where I'm at, I like what I have, I don't know if I want to change. But that's because it's this close to you, okay? Like May, something about May. Whew. Angels, was there any other thing? Let me cough this up. Cough these clearages up. Okay. I've been hearing, I don't know why that had to come out first, but that had to come out first. This would be a confirmation for you. There's another thing that I've been hearing the past few days.
You can reprogram I am Ray, and this is why you sabotage everything right as life starts to get good. The unfamiliar. You see, we are biologically designed to fear the unknown. And so as a survival response, our body sabotages everything. Because our body's number one purpose is survival. So if we try to go too far ahead of ourselves, too quickly, we're not ready. We're not ready. And to prevent us from making
Eucalyptus.
tragic mistake, our body keeps us stuck in the past. And then you kind of just take credit for what you did, but really you got possessed. Your body, your survival function took over and prevented you from doing what you wanted. Once you understand this, you increase your power to change by like 1,000,000%. Wow. And the consequences of not knowing this, you can stay stuck your whole life and get screwed. Not good. Maybe you've seen me talk about this before. But we have two primary systems, the unconscious and the conscious. Imagine a cowboy riding on a horse. What does a good cowboy do? Trains the horse. So the horse does what it wants. But most people are not good cowboys or cowgirls. The horse is just wild and throwing them all over the place. The unconscious is our body. And the conscious is our mind. And imagine a long journey, a trek to the frontier, the unknown. Who is doing all the work? Is it the cowboy or is it the horse? But what do we do in our lives? We take all the burdens as the cowboy. We don't have to. All we have to do is make certain things automatic. This is manual mode, and this is automatic mode. This is why the more you struggle in your life, the more you're just doing something wrong. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of struggle, yes. But if you're constantly struggling, never able to escape your situation, something's got to change because you're stuck in manual mode. And that's not what the cowboy is designed to do. It's designed to teach the horse and then let the horse take over. Think about playing the piano for a moment. You begin just playing the keys one by one. You're not very good, but when you become a master, it becomes automatic. The wisdom gets ingrained into your body, the horse takes over, and it's natural. That's the difference between a crappy opener band and a rock star. The more effortless you become in your life, the more powerful you are. And the more struggle, the weaker you are. And you see this happening all the time. We're struggling with our old patterns. We're struggling with our addictions. We're struggling with our life. We just can't seem to figure it out. And really it's because we're trying too hard. So an important thing to know is that the body speaks the language of feelings, and the mind speaks the language of patterns. So how our system works, our body's survival mechanism, every time we have a strong feeling about something, our body takes a snapshot and stores it in our body as memory for later. For instance, if you have a negative feeling toward a grizzly bear, you're going to want to remember that. And well, we have millions of years of evolution of running away and getting eaten by grizzly bears. So that's already ingrained in us. We don't have to do anything to be afraid of a grizzly bear. But this also happens in our own lives. Let's just take yourself, you for instance, you, because, well, it's the only relationship that really matters. And there's two choices. There's only two options. You either feel negatively about yourself or you feel positively. And some kind of balance in between. And if you want to know which side you fall on, negative or positive, or somewhere in between, just think about yourself for a moment, whatever that might mean. And either what will pop up automatically is feelings of love. Oh, I love myself. I'm so happy to be alive. Wow. Or you might feel a little bit of anxiety. Oh, I don't really like myself all that much. I'm okay. Not that bad. And on the spectrum between negativity to positivity, that reveals how healthy your relationship is to yourself. And so over your lifetime, if you've had more negative experiences dealing with yourself, thinking you're a bad person, making mistakes, doing problems, your unconscious will have painted a negative picture about you. All those little snapshots accumulate to become your unconscious identity. So what will happen is that if you have a negative relationship with yourself, because you've had negative experiences with yourself, negative feelings about yourself, you will fundamentally feel unworthy. You may not be conscious of it, or you might be, but every time you try to do something good for yourself, the fear, the survival response, the body will sabotage you from doing that, because you're trying to get away from the unconscious identity, from what your body believes you are. So you have two identities. You have the conscious identity, and you have the unconscious identity. So if you fundamentally feel unworthy about yourself, a negative self-identity, then when you try to do something good for yourself, that horse is just going to pull you away. It's not going to feel comfortable. One way this might manifest is that, let's say you're in a relationship and you have a really great partner. Things are going well, but then that unconscious identity pops its ugly head. Fundamentally, you do not feel worthy of that partner. So your reality will begin to bend to reflect this, not this, and you'll just do something stupid that wrecks it. And you won't know why, but it's because your reality will always be a reflection of you. And if this unconscious identity is negative, then you will have a negative experience. You will receive a negative result. Think about it this way. Who you are influences how you act, and how you act influences what you get. So, if you have a negative identity, either conscious or unconscious, you will act in negative ways that reinforce that negative identity, which will result in a negative consequence from life. And you see, what this negative memory is trauma. It's negative karma. And until you deal with it, the problem's not going to go away. You'll keep getting in the same situations over and over again because you can't escape yourself. Doesn't matter how many vacations you try to take, you're always stuck with you. So take the time to deal with it. You won't have to worry about it again. And think about how simple this is to absolutely change your life. You may or may not have a negative relationship with yourself over past negative experiences, beating yourself up, thinking you're unworthy, whatever. So all you have to do to change that relationship is to start feeling better about yourself. The more you feel better more often, the more you reprogram your unconscious mind. Because the unconscious mind only speaks the language of feelings. The horse only knows what it feels. It doesn't speak English, so you gotta make it feel differently. And this goes for literally everything in your life. You can change anything. Think about money, for instance, the pattern of money. The only reason that anybody, doesn't matter if you're in a third world country, doesn't matter where you are, the only reason somebody stays broke and cannot live in a state of abundance is because of their unconscious mind, their unconscious identity. It has a negative relationship with money. So it's like your unconscious believes you to be a scavenger, or like living in a desert where resources are scarce. And imagine if you were living in abundance in the desert. You just, oh, we have plenty of water, let's just pour it out. Oh, it's all good. And then the next day, oh, where's our water? And then you dehydrate and die. So your body won't let you focus on abundance. The thing is, the horse is blind. The body doesn't know anything other than what you feed it with your conscious mind. So you can reprogram it to be anything, positive or negative. The unconscious accepts literally everything. It doesn't say no, it only says yes. This is why being delusional is often better than being a realist. Because if you're a so-called realist and you're looking around in your environment and you're saying this is the real world, you're always going to be a slave to what you see. You're always going to be a slave to your environment. You have to begin creating your reality from your mind, from your imagination. Because the body doesn't know the difference between what is real in the physical world and what is just a thought. That is why people get screwed nowadays with their negative thoughts and overthinking. Because to the body, that's no different than like a little mini grizzly bear popping up. Except for this time, you can't run away because you're always stuck with your thoughts. You see, all self-sabotage comes from the same one thing. The conscious mind, the cowboy, wants to go this way, the unconscious does not. So there's a fight, there's a struggle. The moment you get these two on board, you perfectly begin living the life you want. But it takes a bit of conscious intention to change and not just continue struggling. If something's not working, change it. So you see, what happens is that the conscious mind, it has this identity of who it wants to become, who we want to become. And there is an energetic mismatch. Not a pen, garbage. Let's say you're trying to chase your dreams or something like that. You have this vision that you're striving for, or something you want to do. You're trying to step into a new version of you. But in your body, there's an old version. Remember, memory. So you get torn in between these two forces. You're trying to go this way, and to the degree in which these two energies are aligned or misaligned determines how easy it is to step into this new life, this new version of you. If these energies are not the same, you will struggle. Think about 3 friends. You're the middle friend, and you're tired of hanging out with this one. They're annoying. You don't like them. So you want to start hanging out with this one. But you've already been feeding this relationship for a long time. So it can't just, there's some attachment there. And the friend comes along and says, don't you want to hang out, man or woman? And he bear hugs you and doesn't let you go. So in order to be free from the old version of you, you have to be free from the attachment. And the attachment is simply the accumulation of the energy you fed it. So because the old relationship has some energetic momentum, it's hard to just let it go cold turkey. You have to stop feeding the old relationship first and start feeding the new one. Which means that when the old patterns come up, when you sabotage your life, don't continue beating yourself up. Because beating yourself up and judging yourself is creating negative feelings about yourself. You're further reinforcing the exact same thing you're trying to avoid. You're trying to be free from this relationship, and yet you're making it worse. That's what happens if you indulge in an addiction, and then you feel guilty about it, and then you feel shame about it. And then now you're depressed for like 3 weeks. It's like running back to them and saying, yes, I know you're right, okay, let's hang out. When you're really wanting to leave. So just leave. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the old patterns. If you sabotage yourself, just keep moving forward. Life is being viewed through the windshield, not the rear view mirror. You're not going that way. And you see, we can only focus on one thing at a time. So you're either focused on feeding the new version of you, or you're focused on feeding the old one. That's all. So you got to make that choice. You got to stand up for yourself and say, what do I want? Okay, well, I don't want this, so I want this. Once you get a bit clear on what you want, now you know what to focus on. It's not what happens to us that is the problem. It's our reaction to what happens to us. Because it's our reaction that causes emotional response. And emotion is the juiciest energy. The more emotion we give to the new version of ourselves, the easier it is to step into it. And the more juice we give to the old, the more we stay stuck. It's really just the difference between focusing on what you want and stop focusing on what you don't want. Over time, your unconscious will be reprogrammed by itself. Because you stop feeding your feelings, your reactions, to what you don't want, to the old version of you. And so your unconscious begins to say, oh, well, they must not be that anymore. They must be something new. This is why I don't believe necessarily that you should spend so much time struggling with your addictions, with old behavior. If you sabotage yourself, don't worry about it. Stop judging yourself. You're just learning how to do things right. And it's an attitude thing. If you have a negative attitude, it doesn't really matter what happens. You're always going to find something to complain about. But if you have a positive attitude, it doesn't matter what happens. You'll overcome anything. You know, it always happens the same way. We get here, about to level up in life, but then for some reason we sabotage everything. Why? Well, it's because there are parts of you that aren't allowed into the next level. And every time you bump up against it, those old patterns emerge for you to let go of. And so if we're still attached to them, if they still got a lot of energy, well, then we're not going to make it through, because they're still going to be weighing us down. We're not ready to let them go yet. So we got to come back down a little bit and then try again next time. You're still on an upward trajectory. It's just you're going to go through ups and downs and ups and downs. But every time you learn a little bit more, every time you become a little bit more wiser. So the next time you have a greater probability of breaking through. And sometimes this means bumping up against the same wall hundreds and hundreds of times for years, because there's a lot to learn and we have a lot of conditioning. So be patient with yourself. Know that this is part of the process, and reframe your mindset to be productive and not self-destructive, because why would you do that? There are 3 ways to deal with the sabotage. The first way is the foolish way, in which you beat yourself up and judge yourself. You ruminate on the shame and the guilt, and instead of bouncing off right here, you break down, downward spiral. And then you gotta find some place down here in order to build up again. The second way is you begin learning the lesson, reflecting on what happened. What did I do wrong? What can I do better next time? What happened? And what that allows you to do is you don't break through and fall into a downward spiral, but now you can start going back up. You'll have a better opportunity next time because you'll be more wise. You will have learned a little bit more. And if you have not learned enough yet, well, then you'll come back down and try again, and try again. But the way I recommend is, okay, it's good to reflect, it's good to think about it, but just keep focusing on where you're going. Don't worry about it. Almost pretend like it never even happened. Because the more you focus on it, the more you give that problem life. You believe it into existence. But the less you focus on the problem and the more you focus on where you're going, you don't feed it. And you feed what you want. So what happens is that even if you sabotage yourself a little bit, you can still break through and fall to this level and start building up here. If you just shrug it off and keep going, it doesn't matter. Don't even give it a second thought unless it's really ruining your life. Then you might have to take some time to deal with it. But along your journey, and with the different kinds of things we sabotage our life with, oftentimes you can just shrug it off, oh, whatever, let me just keep moving forward. Try better next time. Get over it. The quicker you can get over it, the quicker you can shift into your best life. Because, remember, the whole thing, like Neville Goddard said, is feeling. Feeling is the secret. And how do you feel when you judge yourself for making a mistake? You feel bad about yourself. It's not productive. But how do you feel when you realize that you can overcome anything? That you can get hit by life and keep moving forward? You start feeling better about yourself. You realize that you are stronger and more powerful than you used to believe. That's what happens when you can sabotage your life in some stupid way and be unfazed by it. Oh, it's just, everything's working out perfectly for my favor. I don't know how, it doesn't matter. I'm still moving forward. Situations, life is only negative if we think it as negative. Life is perfectly balanced between negativity and positivity. Infinite abundance of each. It's not about what you think is true, it's about what you choose to focus on. If you focus on what is good, where you're going, you'll struggle a lot less. And this is a self-perpetuating cycle. As you go up and up and up, you start feeling better and better about yourself. It's also the same down. The more down you go, the worse you feel about yourself. But once you have this kind of attitude shift toward being productive and not self-destructive, it's easy to change your life. Now that you know this, you also have the power to quantum shift, which is like just teleporting through the wall, not even bouncing up against it. You see, the reason that children can learn so easily is because their brain, their mind is malleable. The portal between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind is completely open. So most of our programming happens by like the age of 10. The memory gets stored in our body, and then it gets more and more stuck as we get older. But we never lost the ability to learn rapidly, to change. It just got covered up by a stronger conscious mind. And we just don't know how to program information into the unconscious. And it all has to do with brainwave frequencies. The faster the brainwaves vibrate, the more awake we are, the more conscious. And the slower the brainwaves vibrate, the more we go into deep sleep, which is unconsciousness. So, if you want to reprogram your unconscious mind without needing years of struggle, all you have to do, get yourself into a meditative state. Slow down your brainwaves. Because when your brainwaves are slowed down, the portal is open and you can get the message across. And in this state, what you want to do is you want to repeat positive affirmations, or you want to visualize your desired life. And just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you see how it changes your outer reality, because it changes you. So whatever data, whatever information you want to program into your unconscious, first get clear about it, set the intention before you meditate, and experiment with what feels right in the moment. You know you're getting into a deep meditative state when your mind kind of just begins to wander a bit. Or let's say it's not as coherent, begins kind of like breaking apart almost. If you do this first thing when you wake up in the morning and last thing before you go to bed, you can change your life really quickly. Because first thing and last thing in the day is when the portal is most open.
Yeah.
So the first things that you think when you wake up and the last things you think
This shit
about
is working, guys.
before you go to
Well.
bed are impacting your life the most. So all you gotta do, build a good habit of repeating positive affirmations in the morning and before bed. That's why prayer is so good. It's the last thing you do before you go to sleep. And also, if you like visualizations, even more powerful. Because again, your body doesn't know the difference between a visual image and what is real. So you can reprogram your unconscious mind anything. And all it takes is once to
I might come
stick
back later,
the
guys.
unconscious, to make it land. They call it like impregnating the unconscious mind, the womb. And what this means is that you get the information, the seed of what you want. The moment it's planted, the moment it's in there real good,
Maybe play some
it
games.
starts to take root. And then it
Okay,
blossoms
see
in your
you.
life later on. I am Ray.